At any moment in time, you can choose, if you want to establish an emotional grid, a new basis of attraction at any time. You don't have to just keep parlaying off what's been going before. At any time, you can say, hey, I get this point of attraction stuff. I understand that I am the creator of my own reality. I get that I am emanating a vibration, and that vibration is being answered now. I get it that I don't pile it up and pile it up and pile it up and pile it up. You don't pile up your point of attraction. You only pile up your propensity to offer vibrations in any moment in time. That's new. That's a new way of saying that. You only pile up your propensity to respond in any moment in time. And in any moment in time, this is quite exciting, isn't it? In any moment in time, you can choose to respond differently once you know about the grid. Once you know that right here, right now, you can look at that, whatever it was, and you can have a knee-jerk response to it that creates a new layer of point of attraction, because your grids are moving forward with you as you are moving forward. And you know what else is really interesting? We've been talking to you for a long while about this vortex and about the point of attraction that the source within you holds. How every time you know what you don't want, you know what you do want, and source is the placeholder of all of that. We want you to feel with us just for a moment the power and the importance and the perfection and the love of the vibrational grid that source holds for you. Your Earth spins in its orbit in perfect proximity to other planets. Do you have any idea of the extraordinary well-being that is surrounding all of you, you see? It would be so easy for you if you tried just a little bit to feel that grid that is the non-physical placeholder of all that you are, that is constantly filling in with new generations and new ideas and new technology and new, better ways to live. More comfortable ways to live, more ways to live joyously in this leading edge time-space reality. All of us holding that vibrational, emotional grid of well-being. And you layering it with whatever's happening in the moment. But you have the option in every moment. The emotion that you feel in any moment, in every moment, is nothing more. And we are not trying to diminish its importance, because it's everything. But it is nothing more than the vibrational relationship between the non-physical grid, the grid that source is holding for all of you, and the grid that you are holding for yourself in this moment in time. Because when you get vibrationally off the beam from who you are, you feel that discord. It's what we've been calling resistance. This is just another more hands-on way for you to feel it, you see. We've been talking to you for a while, and we say to you, as Seth said to you, you are the creator of your reality. And Jerry said, I like the sound of that, but how is that so? Seth said, your point of power is in the present. And Jerry said, oh, that sounds important, but what do you mean? How is that so? And so all of these years we've been explaining primarily those two things, that you are the creator of your own reality and that you're doing it in your powerful now. Because the only opportunity that you have to contour the vibration of your beingness is right here, right now, right here, right now, right here, right now, in response to whatever life is bringing you, in response to whatever images are dancing in your head, in response to whatever memories you are imagining or conjuring, or in response to whatever you're observing. Whether you are thinking about the past or the present or the future, you're doing it right now. This is where your powerful now is happening. And in this powerful now, you are establishing yet again another 17 seconds, another 17 seconds, another 17 seconds. A vibrational grid. Your power is now. And your ability to feel how it dovetails in with the long-standing grid, the eternal nature of your being. So look at it this way. You were source energy before you came into this body, and you had a grid with a point of attraction going on that we can't even begin to describe the perfection of. That's who you are coming in. And then, just like you planned, you begin creating other grids so that you can feel the relationship between them, so that you can establish new things that you want. But through all of that, you have the ability to come home to the central place, come home to the vibrational beingness, come home to that place of well-being that has been established long before you came into this physical body and is increasing with every 17 seconds that you have been living ever since, you see. Every 17 seconds. you have the opportunity of reestablishing and setting into a different direction the vibrational grid, which is your point of attraction. Do you like knowing that you have a point of attraction? Do you like knowing that it is scientifically, mathematically provable? Do you like knowing that there's no way that you could ever wonder what's coming to you or why it's coming to you when you understand what's going on with your emotional grid? Do you understand that once you understand that not only will you understand what came, you'll understand what's coming. You'll understand what is. You all right with this? We are eager to talk with you about anything that is important to you. Nothing is off limits. It is our expectation that we will move today into places that none of us have ever been before. That's what you bring to this party. You bring your new experiences, your new questions, your new beingness. You bring your grid. You bring your grid, we'll bring our grid, and we'll see how it all works out. How's that? That's what's going on. That's what's going on. So, what do you want to talk about? When you establish a vibrational pattern, usually by virtue of something that you've been observing, that vibrational pattern forms a point of attraction. Recently we've been calling it your emotional grid. It's like the grid or the framework of a building that's going to fill in with more details. But it's an emotional, vibrational grid that is the framework. You walk around in it as your point of attraction. And then that grid fills in all day, every day with things that match the grid, all kinds of manifestations. We want you to feel the power of this grid that is within you. And we want you to recognize that your emotions are always your indicator of what you've been doing, especially lately with your emotions. And your emotions are coming in response to what you've been thinking, what you've been giving your attention to. So the source within you is aware of who you are and what you want and where you are in relationship to it. But the source within you is only focused upon, and by source within you, it's such a broad label to define all of us, non-physical, interested parties in your well-being. You see, most of you don't get that. You haven't been focused upon all of this non-physical help that you have. Sometimes it takes someone croaking in order to get your attention. Sometimes somebody who's dear to you, who's important to you, has to reemerge into non-physical before you even start thinking about what they might be thinking about you. But it's our promise to you that once you turn your attention to this non-physical group, isn't a big enough word, of non-physical interest, and you start paying attention to the way you feel and getting yourself as often as you can in vibrational vicinity so that you can hear the messages, so that you can read the clues. We're going to be talking today a lot about your grid filling in. Have you been hearing us? If you've been listening to us for a little while recently, we've been talking about the grid. Are you aware of it? Have you been listening to us for a while? Are you aware of the vortex? So the vortex is the vibrational, if you will, holding pattern, places the wrong word, for the details of what you've been asking for. And you've been creating that vortex for a long time. And it stands as the potential manifestation for you. But most of it is still in vibrational form, ready to be manifested. It manifests when you are in a vibrational state that allows it to show itself to you in more than vibration. So think about it. Your vortex is giving you information all day, every day. The way you feel is your indication of your relationship with it. If you feel really good, you're in good vibrational proximity to your vortex. And as you stand in your physical beingness, in your happiest moments, you are in such alignment with that vortex that the vortex now begins moving into your experience. Now, we've been saying, get into your vortex. Now we're saying to you, you are getting into your vortex, or your vortex is getting into you, but we would like you to form a sort of visual that your vortex is filled with all that you have become, all that you want, all that you have defined that you want. And as you find vibrational alignment with that, then you create a vibrational nucleus. You provide a vibrational environment. You cause yourself to be a vibrational grid that allows those details then to manifest in your experience. And the first manifestation is one of emotion. It's a feeling thing. It's that general thing that we are calling emotion. Emotion is about as general as it gets. Because in emotion, you're feeling. Have you ever felt something so powerfully and you want so much to convey what you're feeling to another with clarity enough that they can hear it and understand it, but you just can't find the words, but you really know how you feel. You know so clearly how you feel. You just can't put it into words. Well, we don't want you to try so hard to put it into words. Just rest with the general feeling, because as you rest with that general feeling, more will fill in. Then words will begin to come. And then ideas will begin to come. And then rendezvous will begin to come. Everything that happens in your experience is a rendezvousing with something experience. We just want to point out to you in this art of allowing environment that if you will put more emphasis upon the one thing that you have control over, and that is your personal relationship with your vortex. And if you are consciously aware of the contents of the vortex, and you are consciously aware of the power of the grid, now you've got everything that you need to put it all together. Now, formerly, we've been telling you the same thing for a while, just not in that easy to understand format. We've been saying to you that there are 3 steps to the process. Step 1 is ask. And life just through its contrast causes you to ask. And when you ask, you put it in the vortex, 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 put it in the vortex. Step 2 is source answers. Well, in this context of what we just said to you today, this vortex is this becoming place, environment of all that you've asked for. The source within you literally becomes the vibrational equivalent of what you've been asking for. The book that we wrote a few years ago said, ask and it is given. Today we say, ask and the vortex becomes it. Ask and the vortex becomes what you've asked for. Now the next step, and the question that the Ask book erupted within so many of you is, all right, so I've asked and you say you have given, but where is it? I will sort of kind of accept, Abraham, because you seem credible in some ways, that when I have asked, it has been given, but if it has been given, where is it? And please don't tell me it's in the vortex. It's in the vortex. It's in the vortex, but the question is, how do you get it out of the vortex and into your experience? So we've been saying step 3 is, you got to get in the vortex. Step 3 is, you have to allow it, but we're giving you a clear way of defining that. Now we're saying to you, and you can hear this, can't you? That you have a vibrational grid going on all the time. You have this grid going on. In fact, you've got a grid about money. You've got a grid about lovers. You've got a grid about employers. You've got a grid about employees. You've got a grid about people in traffic. You have opinions that have caused you to form grids about just about everything in the world. And your grids in any moment in time are stacking up and equaling your point of attraction. So you're walking around with, we love you very much. You know what's coming after that, don't you? You're walking around with sloppy grids. You're walking around with a grid that has been inspired by that experience and a grid that has been inspired by that experience. So you've got all of these reactionary grids going on that are then affecting your relationship with your vortex. And so we want you to stop reacting so much to what's going on. You may have, if you've been listening to us for a while, and some of you have, you may remember us saying to you that most people offer most of their vibration in response to what they're observing. So you're out there observing stuff and creating a grid. And your human, logical mind wants to say, well, Abraham, there are all of these truths that I am aware of. And isn't it prudent for me to observe and sift through and focus upon these truths? And we say, but can you hear the backward nature of that? What you're actually saying is, Abraham, there's stuff that people have got going on with their grids that is manifesting in a way that I can see it. So since they created it and their grid filled in with it, shouldn't I observe it? And we say, yes, if you want your grid to fill in with it. If you like what you see, give it your undivided attention. If you don't want it, turn the other cheek. If you don't want it, give your attention to something else. If you don't want it, create your own grid. And so most humans, it's sort of a cry that